Hello YouTube gardeners. We're having a beautiful day in Southern California today, but boy are we in for some hot weather. We're having a heat advisory and it says that we're gonna have 108 in a couple days and then 106 after that. So not looking forward to that at all. Going to have to get the shade cloths out and do some protecting from the intense heat. But other than that, the garden is doing great. Everything's looking beautiful. Got lots of grapes growing. Still got lots of lettuce growing. Cucumbers all over the place. Kind of overdid it this year with cucumbers because of my rat situation last year. They were taking out all my cucumber plants, but that's under control this year, so it's doing really well. All the cucumbers are doing great. Edamame is coming in. Lots of edamame. That's gonna be super awesome. And get those guys packaged and frozen. Got some heads of lettuce. And today I'm going to be sharing planting and growing tomatillos. Hey buddy, what do you smell? Are you tracking some lizards? So I'm in front of my tomatillo plants. I grew these from seed, and if I could back up a little bit, this is 3 plants that are growing together. They're pretty close together, but if I zoom in, they're a good probably 18 inches apart. See, they're just covered in tomatillos. And they're doing really well this year. Last year, I had a disaster with my tomatillo plants. The cucumber beetle started attacking it. Lots of cucumber beetle larvae just decimated it all within a few days. And I have a past video on that. But so far this year, it's cucumber beetle free, but we're coming into July. So I know they're gonna show up, and I'm gonna do a little preventative spraying with some neem oil and some organic soap to deter them from coming and laying their eggs on my tomatillos this year. They're doing beautiful. I started these guys from seed. I've got purple tomatillos in here, and I've got some regular tomatillos. And tomatillos are really easy to grow. As a matter of fact, I grow them just like I do tomato plants. They're a distant cousin of the tomato plant, so it makes sense that you can care for them in just about the same way that you would a tomato plant. But they're not self-fertile, so you want to make sure that you're growing at least 2 together. Like I mentioned earlier, I have 3 together, and it's really going to help for the production of the tomatillo plants. We're going to get hundreds of tomatillos. So grow in groups, 2 or 3, and then you can always freeze them. They'll keep in the fridge for a couple weeks in a bag, but you could also freeze them. And if you're gonna freeze them, you're gonna wanna double bag them to protect them from frost burn. The soil conditions are the same. I prep the soil as I would for growing tomato plants, and sowed the seeds like I would tomato plants. And the only difference is while the seeds and the small plant is growing, they tend to get really tall and leggy, and tomato plants do as well. And I found that the tomatillo plants have the little hairs on the stems just like the tomato plant. So that told me that I could bury them when I plant them. And that's what I did with these guys. You can see how nice and bushy they are. Before I got them in the ground, they were probably about 12 inches high. And I buried about 1/3 of the plant, if not almost half of the plant. And it works out really well for these guys. The little hairs on the stems eventually turn into roots, so This type of plant, just like the tomato plant, can take that. Typically when you're planting, you want to plant at the base of the soil level that the vegetable grew in, and you don't want to get them buried too deep, but tomato plants and tomatillo plants really like it. They're growing in a full sun location, so sun throughout the entire day, right in the direct heat. Watering requirements are the same as tomato plants. They don't like drought conditions because, as in tomato plants, you'll get blossom drop. Same with tomatillos, they don't like drought conditions, and they also don't like to sit in soggy soil. So not too wet, not too dry. And they're just extremely easy to grow. As long as you have the right soil conditions, they get the right water, and you plant a couple of them together, you're gonna get lots of tomatillos. What I also like to do is mulch at the base of the plants with my compost. So it's a little hard to get in there to show you, but I stacked a couple inches of my compost at the base of the plants and cleared out the stem about an inch in diameter so that the compost wasn't laying right up against the stem. But I like to mulch with the compost. It's getting lots of nutrients that way. And again, it's just very, very happy plants this year. Really hope that I do not get this cucumber beetle issue that I did last year. But if I do at this point, we've got so many tomatillos, we're still gonna have a really great harvest this year. So bring on the green salsa, one of my favorites. We have this heat tolerant cilantro growing. I'll pop over there real quick. I just did a video on that. And here we are, we've had some more upper 90s this week, and it still hasn't bolted, so I highly recommend trying that. It's the Calypso by Johnny Seed, and it's going to be really fun to see how it does after the 108 temperatures that we're going to have in a couple days. And I'm going to be doing a video on planting and growing edamame next, so hit the subscribe button if that interests you. Look at all that delicious edamame growing. And here we are. This is the area where I did the seed experiment. The video was just a week or two ago, and here's the Calypso. No signs of bolting whatsoever. Such a beautiful bushy cilantro, huge leaves. Highly, highly recommended. There's the burpee that's flowered. It's pretty, but definitely want to be growing the Calypso in the hot summer months. All right, that's it for now. Hope you enjoy your week and enjoy your garden.